Guys, welcome to another episode. It's a billionaire farmer right here. So in this video, I have one goal, which is showing you how you can actually effectively cut costs while farming and get the same result. Like I said, how you can efficiently cut costs while farming and make this and get the same result. And this is particular for building your nursery house, doing your nursery, and of course fertilizing. Now, I emphasis on efficiently cutting costs because the whole idea of efficiently cutting costs is such that, for instance, you're using 100,000 naira to do something, a business, and you're going to be making a profit of 50,000 naira eventually, right? Now, if there is a system in which you can efficiently cut costs and use 60,000 naira as your original investment instead of 100,000 naira, and you get to still make your 50,000 naira profit, what you have successfully done is not exactly even make 50,000 naira. The percentage of profit you have made had just significantly gone up. So if you add your initial 40,000 naira that you saved plus your 50,000 naira, what you've made is actually 90,000 naira when you calculate it in terms of percentage and statistics. So it's good, right? So it's a very good way to do it, right? So if there is a system like that, why not take advantage of it? But mind you, I said efficiently cutting costs because some people can cut costs, but it's not efficient in such a way that you cut costs and eventually you don't get the desired result, right? For instance, saying that you're farming and you don't want to use fertilizer or manure on your farmland because you want to save costs, not because you want to go organic or whatever. You want to save costs. That's your reason for doing that. Eventually, what will happen is that you would have saved costs, you will not get the desired yield, and even the little you eventually got to spend, you would lose it because you won't make as much as you should, and it will end up being a loss, right? So mind you, emphasis on efficiently cutting costs. So in this video, I want to show you how I've been able to save half the cost on my building my nursery and also my fertilizer, manure rather. How that manure and fertilizer. How that I went from this nursery right here to this nursery you're seeing right here, and this is significantly bigger. This is almost 6 times the size of this other nursery, but at the same time I spent 3 times the money I spent on this, right? So I'm saving 2/3 of the original money I spent on this nursery building this second nursery. How was I able to do that? Very, very simple. Now, one of the things you would understand with farming, and as you business naturally, as you grow into it and you understand it more, is that there are ways. The more you understand the business, the more you find loopholes and ways you can actually cut costs. For instance, people who are into poultry farming, a lot of them would go ahead and buy their feed. Feed is very expensive. Now, feed is somewhere around 25,000 naira for bags. Anyone, pellets or whatever you want to buy, it's about 25,000 naira right now. And what you have to look at is, if I keep buying feed for 25,000 naira, mind you, the people I'm buying from are making profit from me, which is not a bad thing, but the price is ridiculous. It's just a small bag like this, and it's 50,000 naira. If you have 1,000 beds, you probably be buying 4-5 bags, four bags, around 3 bags every day to feed them. Now imagine spending 60,000 naira every day to feed your bed, and you do that for 6 months before they start laying their eggs. But there is an alternative way, which is buying your corn, milling your corn, and buying granular, which you concentrate rather, which you mix with your corn in a particular proportion, and you get the same desired result and with lesser cost. So that's efficiency, if you ask me, right? So that's exactly the same thing we're doing with farming, finding ways to cut costs. So, and this is particular for people who are trying to go into farming and don't have much money to go into it, because if you're doing a very little nursery, doing farming moderately, 1 plot, 2 plot, then this might not really, because you're not really, it still help, right? Because I'm believing that if you're doing 1 or 2 plots, the reason why you're doing that is probably because you can't go large scale and you don't have much money. So you should watch. And if this is your first time on this channel, do very well to hit on the subscribe button, because I get to drop very important tips on agriculture and farming, right? And also how we make profits doing that, because in my opinion, agriculture is the next big thing in Nigeria. It's the oil, and the earlier you tap into this industry, the better for all of us. I'm into tech. I'm huge into cryptocurrency and forex trading. Like I said, I always say I have a stable 9 to 5 job. Yet I understand very well that agriculture is the future, and gradually it's no longer becoming a side gig for me. It's becoming the main thing. So straight to the point, what we realize is that for building our nursery, we had to buy plank and buy a shading leather. Now for the shading leather, it's 2,200 naira for a square meter. Now for this one we wanted to do, this nursery, we realized that we needed about 100 plus square meter, 120 square meter thereabout. So we are going to spend about 250,000 naira just to buy the leather with which we're going to cover the nursery. Now you cover it with the leather because you don't want the whole idea of a nursery or a greenhouse. It's a greenhouse leather bag actually. The whole idea is to reduce the quantity of sunlight that penetrates your crop. And for a nursery, it's a nursery for a reason. Controlled space, controlled environment, controlled heat, controlled temperature, controlled pests and insects and all that stuff, right? So imagine just for a nursery spending 200,000 naira plus. Do you get? And then that's not the whole cost. I'll still buy trays, I'll still buy cocoa peat, potting soil, manure, and the likes, all of this stuff. We were already spending so much money and we needed to cut costs. So how did we do it? First, we thought about it and we said, okay, we don't need to buy wood. We have bamboo. Come on, bamboo are used for construction in the likes of China, Singapore, and a couple Asian countries. So if that is the case, why not use it to build our tents, our nursery? Why buy wood? For wood that is going to construct that nursery for us, we're going to buy wood of somewhere around 150,000 naira to 200,000 naira. So if we're spending 200,000 naira plus on wood, spending over 200,000 naira plus on leather, that's ridiculous. So we're going to be spending somewhere around 500, 600,000 naira just to construct a nursery. How much I won't make from the farm? Yeah, I'm going to make a lot of money from the farm, yeah. But again, I just feel that that's not the necessary expenses. That's where we're talking about saving costs, right? Now, whatever amount of money I eventually get to make, I have added 500,000 naira to it because I've been able to save 500,000 naira from my initial expenses. So we used our bamboo, as you can see currently in the screen. Another thing we used was we started with using mosquito net, which is what a lot of people use, but we figured that mosquito net was quite expensive. It's about 2,000 naira for one, and it's not so large, right? And we were doubling it. Even for the roofing, we realized, okay, we could use mosquito net. So we used mosquito net for the roofing, but we doubled the layer, right? Because you can actually use see-through net for a nursery, for a greenhouse where the up is covered by a net. Water can still penetrate during rainy season and all that. So we just decided, okay, you know what, we're just going to double the net up, and where we have a leather bag, we will use a leather bag. But for the side netting, what we did was we just bought the normal green window net for a lot that is used in a lot of houses. This is cheaper. A roll of it was 10,000 naira, and we were buying one net. A roll of it was 10,000 naira, and in a roll of it you probably get close to 15 nets. So if you're 15 mosquito nets, talking about the breadth and the size, so it was really relatively cheaper. So that was what we got, and we used bamboo. So if you're trying to construct your nursery, that is my recommendation. Get bamboo, even if you don't have it. Good thing was that we had it on our farm, so we just had to cut and use. But if you don't have it, it will still be cheaper to buy bamboo than to buy wood, right? So, and if you don't have bamboo, you can just use any wood at all that is available. It's a farm. So I'm guessing that if it's a farm, there might be trees, they might cut whatever you see down and use it. The whole idea is to save cost. And also for fertilizer. Now, if you're doing your tomato farming, one of the things you must do, it's even for every vegetable, tomato, cucumber, bell pepper, every 14 days after transplanting, 14 days after transplanting, you're supposed to apply your fertilizer. I'm talking NPK, urea, whatever you're choosing, whatever is appropriate at the time, you're going to apply your fertilizer. First of all, we apply manure first before even transplanting. Now, the macro and micronutrients in manure is almost equally as high as that in fertilizer. The only difference is that in a lot of this fertilizer, it is more concentrated. That's just the difference. It is more concentrated in a lot of this fertilizer. So if you ask me, I would say use more of manure. So the 14 days you're supposed to use this, instead of using 14 days intervals for fertilizer, you can use 7 days intervals and apply your manure every 7 days instead. Because look at it. A full bag, I'm showing it on the screen right now, a full bag of manure is currently 3,500 naira. We got 20 bags initially. We just got another shipment of 27 bags, so that's 35,000 naira. Altogether it's somewhere around 90,000 naira for 27 bags. So currently for our 3 acres we're using 47 bags, around 45 bags. So I'm giving 2 bags, 3 bags away, right? Now everything we spent initially, we bought the first one for 70,000 naira. This is 90,000 naira. So when you put that together, it's somewhere around 160,000 naira for, imagine, for 47 bags of manure, right? Now if you want to buy 1 bag of NPK at the moment, I think it's somewhere around 50,000 naira, just 1 bag of NPK. And mind you, a bag of NPK is less smaller, though of course you apply it, to be fair, you don't apply it as much as you apply manure, right? You just apply a cup full of it. Usually this is what we use to apply manure for fertilizer. So you just scoop this cup of any drink, any soft drink, and then you scoop and apply at the base of your plant, close to the root, not directly. You shouldn't touch your plant because it would kill your plant if it's too close, if the proximity is too much, right? So that's what we're supposed to. Be fair, we don't use, but however, 50 bags, 50,000 naira compared to 3,500 naira, the difference is whooping. It's over 100% more. It's even more. It's over 200% if you ask me, in terms of pricing. So this is cheaper, and this works as much as this works. There are people who are into organic farming, they don't even use fertilizer. Now, am I saying do not use fertilizer? No, I am going to use fertilizer, right? But I'm not going to use it as much. So I'm not going to use it as much as I would. I imagine you're applying for 3 acres right now. We're applying fertilizer for 3 acres of land. For every application we're going to be using, even when we're doing just 3 plots, for every application we use about 1.5 bag, just 3 plot of land. So multiply 3 for 3 acres. An acre is 6 plot of land. So let's assume we're even doing 20 plot. If you divide 20 by 3, what you'll be getting is somewhere around 7 or 6.5. So 6.5 times 1.5 bag, what you'll be getting eventually is somewhere around almost 12 bags. So if every application, imagine every application of fertilizer, I'm applying 12 bags. Imagine 50,000 naira times 12. That's a lot of money, a whole lot of money, right? So that is the reason why we're deciding to tilt more towards manure. We would apply our fertilizer, especially after the first application, which is 14 days after transplanting. Yes, we will apply our fertilizer, our NPK, and then subsequently we will supplement it with manure because it's clearly cheaper. We will do fertilizer, alternate it, and do manure. So the whole idea is to save cost. So especially if you're coming into farming, mind you, if this is your first, please hit on the subscribe button. Hit on the subscribe button. It's important for you and for me. If you're coming into agriculture, I've heard a lot of people that say, we invested so much money, myself and my partners, and right now it's not what we expected. It's simply because when you came, there was bogus expectation. People just told you, I made so much money. A lot of these people cut costs. A lot of these people find ways around it. But you just came because you had the money for this. You just dropped the money for this. And by the time you're doing your calculation, you realize that you are even running at loss. So especially if this is particularly also for people who are coming into farming with a lot of money. You are in the US, you want to invest, you're in the UK, whatever, or you're just coming back, you have some money, or you just did some deal, you made some money, so you're just pumping money. You have to be very careful with your spending. Farming is very expensive. That is why it's very important to learn how to cut your costs, right? Seller.